Hey everyone, welcome back to another video in our Turkey trip series, and this time, as you can see in the text on the screen, we are going to Istanbul's Topkapı Saray. So now we've come to the final place that we're going to be in before heading back. So we're in Istanbul once again, like in the beginning of our trip, and now we're going to show you the biggest attraction. It is the place where the Ottoman sultans used to live, and I think we all know the Ottomans and their dynasty because of their luxurious lifestyle and the places that they conquered during their reign. We are going to be visiting the Topkapı Palace, or in Turkish as it is known, Topkapı Saray, which is where they lived. So this palace was constructed, it was like there for the whole period because Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror, he was the one who ordered its construction in 1459, which was 6 years after the conquest of Constantinople, which was the time when the Ottoman story began, because it started when they conquered the Byzantine Empire. And because they conquered Constantinople, there was a lot of drama or war. So the palace in Constantinople was already destroyed, so they needed a new palace, and that is why Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror ordered for this palace's construction. This palace is huge. It has 4 to 5 courtyards and the harem. The harem is where the women lived, and also the Sultan and his family. So it's like a closed off area. No one could enter the harem, which is why it was very interesting, because A, no one can enter, and B, it's full of women. So we may wonder what was cooking there. But anyways, the harem was a secluded area, and the first courtyard was the most easily accessible, while the fourth one was the most difficult to access. It is over a huge area, and it is unlike the European palaces in construction. So that is one more thing that is interesting. And from the Topkapı Palace, you can see the city on one side, and on the other side you can see the sea. So the sultans used to practically be able to see the whole seashore and the sea from their chambers. So that was very easy for them to spot any people coming by. And the whole thing is huge. Now the harem itself had about 300 to 400 rooms, so you can possibly imagine how big the whole Topkapı Palace was. And the Topkapı Palace is not very far from the Hagia Sophia and from the Sultan Ahmed, so they are all linked. They are almost very easily accessible. And these areas it's a huge area, and it has a lot of culture and so many different areas that we can talk about. It has holy relics as well, like we have Abraham's pot and Joseph, his turban, and we also have a lot of other things. We even have Prophet Mohammed's relics, peace be upon him, like his beard's hair, his letters, his clothes, and even his footprint. So these all are housed by the Topkapı Palace. We also have the royal treasury, where a lot of famous jewels were kept. However, some of these areas were not accessible to us when we went because they were closed due to renovations. They were being renovated when we went, but we have taken some photos, and we are showing you what would have been inside them. And in some areas the security was so tight, so we weren't able to take photos. We were not allowed to take photos, so we just took photos from the net to show you all what it looks like. Now, since I've spoken enough, and if you want to know more, then you can go and research about it on the net, because there can be hours and hours of talks on this topic. We'll just go on to the video so that you can admire it. So here we are in the private transfer to go to our hotel after landing in Istanbul, and this here is the close-up view of the Bosphorus Bridge as we're driving through it. And here is our hotel. So this hotel, its name is Ahmet Efendi Konak, and it was a pretty nice hotel. Like, the rooms were clean, and it was pretty cozy as well. The whole scheme of, like, the color scheme was very nice. Like, I liked it. So this was our room, and we're just showing it to you. After that, we decided to go to bed since it was already very late. And this is us in the morning. We got dressed and then we headed down to the lobby for the breakfast. And then we decided to wait for a bit and then we went for Istanbul's Topkapı Palace. So this is what it looks like when you're walking towards the first entrance, as in like the first outside like exterior that you will see. This is what it looks like. You've got some Arabic calligraphy on the top of that domed gate, and we are just walking towards the area. This is our ticket, and we will just get checked in. We will walk inside and then we will show you what it's like in the Topkapı Palace. So this is like where we started. As you can see, there are those two turrets of the castle on top and the Turkey flag. So here you can see some parts bordered because they're being renovated, and that here is the Hagia Sophia, and this is just the exterior area of the palace. So here all over the area you'll find these signboards that tell you about the place that you're in and what its history is. And here we have a map of the courtyard that we were currently in. And this is a very old tree, like really old, so we decided to take a photo over there as well. And we also have audio guides for rent in the Topkapı Palace because not everyone will understand everything since there's a complicated history behind it. So they'll give you a phone-like thing and on every signboard there'll be a number. So you can type that number into the audio phone and you'll get the history and the explanation. That was a miniature map of the Topkapı Palace, and this is an ancient plane tree, so we decided to take that photo. And now the fun starts. So as you can see on the signboard, this is one of the ceremonial gold thrones that the Sultan of the time used to sit on, and it is kept for display in the beginning. So as you can see, their thrones were not the Western kind of throne. It was kind of like a whole sofa. So I'm imagining that it would have been very comfortable to sit on that for long periods of time. So now the first actual place we're going to be going to is the palace kitchens. So here you'll be able to see huge pots and pans and stone slabs and marble slabs where they used to make pastry, and the humongous pots that I'm pretty sure put all together could make food for thousands of people. We have some ladles hanging on the wall here, and still more slabs and storing compartments for, I think, jars which used to hold jams and sherbets. Also, this is only one of the kitchens. As you can see on the signboard that we saw before I showed you, it said palace kitchens. So there were many kitchens, but this was one of them, and we decided to show you only one of them because, well, all of them looked similar. Now, after the palace kitchens, we can see the utensils that they used to use. And here we have some Chinese utensils. So they were from the Qing Dynasty in China. And 170 pieces from the original set have survived, and they have inscribed verses from the Quran. So it was pretty interesting to see. And there was some silverware, of course, and there were golden coffee makers and stuff, and they were like really extravagant people. So we can clearly see that. And we have some designer pots as well that would be like crazy expensive, and they are from their own dynasties. Some of them are gifts from other countries, and some of them are made by Ottomans themselves, but the style has been inspired by other styles, mostly Europeans. So As you can see, there are porcelain bowls and ceramics inspired by Chinese, French, Italians, etc. And this is what I said, a golden coffee maker and all stuff related to coffee, because they used to be obsessed with coffee. And here we have some glass utensils as well. It's pretty interesting to see the designs that they used. And nowadays we have coffee boxes, but back then they used to have these huge things that you just saw, which are coffee bags, and they used to tightly tie them to preserve the coffee that they already have ground to use it later on. And still more utensils are being shown to you now. So as you can see, these people were clearly obsessed with coffee, because you can see coffee roasting pans, coffee roasting ladles, and coffee bags, etc, etc, etc. And here we have some more designer utensils that I just took time to admire, because you don't see these kind of utensils every day, and certainly not where we're going to go back to. Again, another coffee bag, and here is the description which I told you before, and some of them are made of leather, so it's extremely interesting to know how they used to preserve different things earlier. And here we can see the pot that they used to make medicines in, and the medicines were made in the confectionery kitchen with the supervision of the palace physician. And they had a variety of sherbets as well, like cornelian cherry, pomegranate, mangoes, etc, etc. And they used to store them and make them cold with the ice and snow that was collected during the winter in the ice houses. They were pretty creative. And here we have a beautifully adorned area, and actually this was like a tap. You can't really see it and you can't notice it that well, but there's a tap over there, and this is the surrounding area once we came out of that chamber. And here we're going to show you the wax statues of a few of the eunuchs, the white eunuchs that used to be there in the administrative quarters to help out the chiefs. And now we're going to be visiting the sacred relics. First up is the Prophet Moses' staff, which he used to separate the sea to let the Israelites walk through it. And now we have Prophet Muhammad's relic. Then we have a letter, or rather just a tablet, describing Prophet David's sword, which is this one. And here we have a lot of different artifacts. From left to right, we have Abraham's pot, Joseph the Patriarch's turban, some of Prophet Muhammad's relics like his hair. We have Saint John the Baptist's arms bone, which is encased in the gold embellished silver arm case, and we have Prophet Muhammad's footprint. And now we're going to be entering the interesting area, the harem. In Arabic, harem means a holy place where not everyone can enter, which makes sense because it was for the sultan's concubines and for his family, which includes the Valide Sultan or queen mother, his wife or chief consorts, and his kids. Here, there wasn't a lot of light, so things are a bit unclear, but this is the dormitory, or rather where all the women used to sleep, and up above, it's the place where you could see the whole area. And like I said before, it was very secluded, so not everyone could go in, like practically nobody could enter if they were not allowed to. And it housed all the secrets of the Ottomans. So now we just finished looking at the harem. We took one photo outside it, and then we went to this area, which is where the sultan used to dress up as a common man and walk through this to enter the normal bazaars and mingle with the common people without them knowing it. So everybody, welcome to the Imperial Hall. This is this super important and fancy area where the Sultan and all of his family used to have these amazing occasions like weddings and birth ceremonies. So as you can see, it is practically designed for that purpose, as we have so many ornate decorations on the walls and beautiful tapestries. So just enjoy the look of this amazing eye candy area. So once we were done with the Imperial Hall, we headed over to check out the bathrooms, or rather what they call hammams. So the first thing that we notice is the toilet, which we think of as Indian toilets because we are Indians and that's the first thing that pops into our head. But as you can see, everything is made of marble and we have these gold decor also. Now, another thing that they used to do back then is all the women, or many women, used to sit in a huge bathroom or hammam, and they used to take a bath together, which is kind of like our modern day sauna. So that is one of their traditions. And now we're off to the treasury. So first we see a golden encased sword with emeralds at its hilt and a clock on top of it. And here we have the beautiful spoonmaker's diamond, which is the 4th largest diamond in the world of its kind. And you can go over to the net and read about the legends because nobody actually knows how it came to be in the Topkapı palace. Then we have one of the sultan's clothes and his armor for battles. And these are the jewelries that the woman used to wear. And this particular ring is Hurrem Sultan's ring, which was gifted to her by Sultan Suleiman. And here we have the woman herself, Harem Sultan. And there's a series called Muhtasham Usual. And here the actress who portrays Harem Sultan is shown. This is Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. And this is the actor. So the series in English is called Magnificent Century, and we highly recommend it because it's very interesting and it shows you the Ottoman period or the magnificent period of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. And this was Mahi Devran, his first wife or consort. And this is their whole family. And another influential sultana was Qasem Sultana, and this is her son next to her. Again, this actor and actress was a part of the second part of Muhtasham Usual. And here, after all of that, we are outside and we are in a kind of balcony where we can see the ocean and part of the city. And this is what I meant by you can see a huge area. Then we found this pretty flower, and finally it was time for us to leave the area. This is the Hagia Sophia. Like I said, they are easily accessible. And finally, a last photo of the Topkapı Palace. So I hope you all enjoyed what we have shown you about the Topkapı Palace, about the Ottoman culture, about the Ottoman sultans, and how all the people during that time used to live inside this palace, which was huge. And it really is an amazing sight to see that all those years back, about 700 to 600 years back, they built all of this, and even what they used still exists in the most pristine condition, because the Turkish people prize their culture and they've kept it so beautifully that it is still accessible to us today, and we can still admire what used to be used a long time back. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope you enjoyed the culture of the Ottoman sultans. And we're going to be showing you in the next video the Suleymaniye complex, which was basically a mosque complex built by Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. So until then, see you.